Rolling.
Rolling. Yoo-hoo! It's happy hour. Oh, my darlings. It's happy hour. It's happy hour, darlings. It's your anti-glam. And here we are for week number 9, darling. 9 times 7 is... How much is that, darling? 60. How much is 9 times 7, darling?
63.
63 days we've been here, darlings. We've been waiting for this. We've been here with you, angels. I think I'm dead, darling. Oh, there we go. Oh, darling. No, darling. Go back. Here we go. Ah, angels, yes. Oh, are you out there? Are there people there, darlings? We're just wondering how we're... Oh, the notifications. I thought I'd turn them off, darling, but evidently we're going to have commentations, darlings. Well, my angels, here we are, week number 9. Dave, we just did the math, darlings, for any of you who are paying attention. We've been here for quite some time, and, well, it's getting interesting. Here we are in upstate New York, darlings, and on Monday they're going to start opening things up again. Someone said to me, someone wanted to come over. Can we do a photo shoot with you in the House of Whimsy? I said, well, perhaps we can do something in the yard. They said, would we like to send a photographer over to photograph you in your lovely home at the end of May? And I said, well, my darlings, I don't know if I want to have somebody into my house at the end of May, but they weren't 100%. I wasn't sure. I wanted to have somebody come in. They said, well, perhaps in 2 weeks you'll feel differently. And I said, well, in 2 weeks, will the way that you catch corona have changed, darlings? Will we all of a sudden have some sort of magical elixir which will prevent strangers who come into your home from giving you Miss Rona? And they said, no. And I said, well, darlings, I'm not going to have a stranger in the house before I have, a friend in the house. So we put the kibosh on that, darlings. But we have had some socially distanced events in the yard, darling. And I want to say thank you to all of you wonderful, beautiful people who sent such gorgeous wishes for my birthday last week, angels. And I had 3 cakes. Nathan and his beautiful partner, River, brought some cupcakes, and my friend Dusty brought me my favorite cake, darling, a yellow cake with pink icing. Drove it up from the city, a drive-by cake delivery, darling. How lucky am I? How fortunate. And my dear friend, Amanda Joy Rubin, she sent me a rainbow cake, darling. I am wearing a very loose frock today, darlings. I'm loosey-goosey, darling. And this was not what I intended to wear at all, because I was wearing something else. But then I realized, darlings, that I did not have the right foundation garments. It was a sort of a halter dress, darling, and I'm well beyond the age where it's charming to wear a halter dress with your bra strap showing. I was going to wear my strapless sex bra, darling, but evidently I left it in the city. But why would I know? Because I haven't needed my sex bra, angels. So, no strangers will be coming over until I can get to the city to pick up my sex bra, darling. Now, another thing, while I'm on the complaint list, my list of grievances, darling, is your dear Auntie Glam. I've got the most terrific headache, darlings, because when I woke up this morning, it was 32 degrees outside, and now it's 66. So it's gone up over 30 degrees since I woke. My sinuses feel like they have the bends, angel. And for any of you who happen to, make the affectation of being a singer, such as myself, that sort of thing messes. I've got the most ridiculous headache, my darlings, but we will soldier through, because nobody said quarantine was going to be an easy breezy luxury piece of pie, and we just do what we can, darling. We just thank our lucky stars that we can still breathe, because some people can't, my darlings. So here we are. We've survived 9 weeks in quarantine, and we have a very special show which I am very excited to do for you today, darlings, which is called When Harry Met Stevie, darlings. It's a celebration of intergendered, intersexed, intergender showmance, darling, because we don't know what gender Stevie Nicks and Harry Styles are, my my darlings. We just know that they're gorgeous and everybody wants them. And so we are doing a set inspired by them. Now, my darling Nathan Carrera here and our beautiful David Sitkowski on piano. And we're going to do a show for you, darlings, and we hope that you enjoy it. And I've made, in honor of the occasion, a strawberry sugar high cocktail, which consists of gin and a maraschino luxardo, lime, watermelon La Croix, darling, and some simple syrup, and a bump of cocaine. So, darling, we'll see if that helps with my headache. And in the meantime, we'll try and make some beautiful music for you wonderful people out there on the YouTubers and of the people on the Instagrams, darlings. Thank you for being here. Let's do a number for the people, darlings. Ha! Ha! Whoa, whoa, whoa! How? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow. Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want more berries and that summer feeling. It's so wonderful and warm. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever do without. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if I could ever go without. Ha! Watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar, strawberries on a summer evening. Baby, you're the end of June. I want your belly and that summer feeling. Getting washed away in you. Breathe me in, breathe me out. I don't know if I could ever go without. Ha! Watermelon sugar high, 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 watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar high, watermelon sugar high. I just wanna taste it, I just wanna taste it. Watermelon sugar high. Tastes like strawberries on a summer evening, and it sounds just like a song. I want your belly and that summer feeling. I don't know if I could ever go without. Watermelon sugar high, 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 watermelon sugar high. I just wanna taste it, I just wanna taste it. Oh, watermelon sugar high. I just wanna taste it, I just wanna taste it. Oh, watermelon sugar high. Watermelon sugar. Oh, darlings, I think the cocaine is working, my angels. Nyo, 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 nyo. Well, that went very well, my darlings. Here we are. It's not June just yet, darlings. We've got a few more weeks before we get to June. But here we are in the merry, merry month of May, darlings, living through blizzards on the night. It wasn't a blizzard, actually. It was more like I was driving along on Saturday, which was my birthday. I was going off to to the flower shop because someone delivered flowers for me, darling. And I was so excited I forgot to tip the gentleman, and he was a very good-looking gentleman. So I immediately called the flower place, which has got the most cunning name. It's called Flower Kraut, darling. Isn't that the cutest name for a flower salon? So I went to the flower salon to tip the gentleman, and while I was out driving, darlings, I thought, oh my goodness, the sky is raining petals for my birthday. I felt blessed, my darlings. Petals. It was the sun was shining, the petals were glowing through the air, and then I realized it was snow, darlings. Snow in May. It's the end of the world, and I'm glad to share it with you. So we are going to do a song now. A song that was a Stevie Nicks tune, darlings, and she wrote it many, many moons ago in the 70s, and then, of course, they re-released it in the 90s when they had their comeback after she got off of her Klonopin, darling. Wasn't that what she was on, darling? The Klonopin. Evidently, it's very relaxing. I had a friend who took Klonopin one time, and they were together on their sofa, on their Klonopin. And I've never been on Klonopin, darlings, at least not that I'm aware of. And the person, this is one of my favorite drug stories, darlings. They were sitting on the sofa, high as kites on the Klonopin, and the one friend looked over to the other and said, should we pull over? Darlings, because remember the days when the front seat of a car felt like a sofa? Now they're bucket seats, darlings, if you're lucky. Anyway, we're doing a song that they re-released in the late 1990s, and then recently, Harry Styles, who's evidently got a mad musical crush on Stevie Nicks, and they are so darling together, invited Stevie to his show at the Trocadero. Isn't that what it's called? The Trocadero in Los Angeles. And they sang this next song, which is a beautiful song. And of course, I've got Nathan Carrera here, who is my very own, all of the good qualities of Harry Styles and all of the good qualities of Lindsey Buckingham, but none of them, just the good looks, darling, is what I'm talking about, from a very shallow, keep it pretty, keep it shallow, keep it moving perspective. Isn't he gorgeous, darling? Well, so is David. I'm surrounded by beauty because, darlings, if there's one thing I cannot stand, it is to be surrounded by ugliness. I had a grandmother who was in the nursing home, darlings, and somebody said to her, darling, you have such a lovely family, and she said, who'd want an ugly one? Now, I know that's a looksist comment, darlings, but you know, I try to be a good person. But I mean, I loved my grandmother, and she had wonderful taste. She gave birth to beautiful children and beautiful grandchildren, and I surround myself with beautiful children, darling, because I love intergenerational musical showmances, which is what today is. And so we're going to do a beautiful song that isn't shallow at all, darlings. It's a beautiful song. And if you feel something, allow yourself to feel something, darlings, because I, you know, as one sequesters stewing in your own juices for week after week after week, you sort of lose all rational thought, darling, and all you're left with are impressions or feelings, and you all of a sudden the feelings become facts and worries become, you know, driving forces, darling. They drive you from one room to another, and yet if you've got enough crutches and enough cushions, and you sort of fall down. It's important to be cushioned, my darlings. Surround yourself with cushions during this very difficult time, because if you tip over or if you just find yourself spinning around in the middle of the room, which I do quite often just because it makes me feel like I'm flying or I'm on an amusement park, it takes me out of the building, darling. Just spin around until you fall down, and if you do, then hopefully you don't fall on the cat, or if you have a dog, or any pointy sharp corners, darlings. I'm just giving you some helpful hints. Anyway, darlings, but spin around, spin freely. And this song is called Landslide, my angels. And I hope I can remember it or sing it. It's very folksy. Nathan's gonna help me with it, darlings. That means you have to go around again, darling, because I started talking, didn't I? Ooh, I took my love and it took it down. Climbed a mountain and I turned around, and I saw my reflection on a snow-covered hill, till the landslide brought me down. Oh, mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the raging ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? I don't know. Ooh, I don't know. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my whole life around you. But time makes you bolder, and children get older, and I'm getting older too. Well, I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I built my life around you. But time makes you bolder, and children get older. I'm getting older too. I'm getting older too. Oh, take this love, take it down. Oh, climb a mountain and turn around. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. And if you see my reflection in the snow-covered hills, well, the landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down. Oh, the landslide will bring it down. Darlings, that was beautiful, Nathan. Thank you. Thank you. And that was beautiful, David. That flourish in the chorus, my darling, was so lovely. And I want to tell you, darlings, that of course, I've realized that 9 weeks of everybody staying at home, you're probably in the same boat as me. You haven't got a part to piss in. Or as Marie Dressler said in Dinner Date, I haven't got a sou, darlings. So we are, of course, performing for tips for the Venmos. If you would like to Venmo your anti-glam at Venmo at Justin-Bond-20, or you can go to my website if you've got the plastics, or you want to do the PayPals or the Square or whatever, darling, justinvivianbond.com. That would be lovely, darlings, but of course, don't create a hardship for yourselves, my angels. Perhaps you'll be able to go to work on Monday. Of course, we're performers, so this is it for the duration, my darlings. I don't know how much longer we're going to be here doing this, but we certainly haven't got any gigs coming up, have we, darlings, until the autumnals. angels. We'll be, hopefully, if all goes well, we'll be trotting out along with the dead leaves of fall, darling, to do a few numbers somewhere, perhaps on the corner of the street. Maybe we'll start to sing in a park. Maybe we'll get an investor and get ourselves a drive-in theater and recreate that scene from The Rose. And I can sing until I die of a heroin overdose, darling. That would be fun, because people would pay good money to watch an entertainer die, darling. And the thing is, likely as anything, that I shall die in front of an audience. But the trick is to hedge your bets, darling. See every show, because you just never know when it's going to happen. I could drop dead this very second, although I don't feel like I'm going to. Headache or not, darling, characteristics are sort of saying I'm definitely going to not die until I finish this drink, darling, because it's delicious. And so I'm going to do another number for you now, a Harry Styles number, darling. Oh, it's a gorgeous number, and of course, everything is quite complicated today. Très compliqué, darlings. I don't know if it's the change in the weather or if it's... Could be any number of things, darlings. But we're going to do this beautiful song. Evidently, the tape is on vacation. I've got these lyrics taped up here, and the tape is not having it, darling. The tape is on strike, darling. I guess perhaps, what is that company that was making the mask, darling? The same one that makes the tape.
3M.
GM, darling.
3M.
Riem.
3M.
3M. I was like, Riem, BM, darling, 3M, darling. I guess when they started to manufacture, if they ever did start to manufacture the PPEs, darling, you know how these companies are. They probably had some sort of a thing that just says, right when you need your tape. You know, like when they put out a new model of the iPhone and you update your phone and suddenly it no longer works. Well, the BM company decided that they were going to make these masks, darlings, and so I guess the sort of, what is that called when people have conspiracy theories? The conspiracies aren't all theories, darling. Perhaps the conspiracy that the BM company had was, well, now that we're not making tape anymore, let's just see to it. They sent out their little, whatever it is they do on the internet, to tell the tape not to work anymore, darling. So don't even bother with tape, darlings. Just stick things on. You know, use glue if you can find any, if they haven't deactivated the glue, darling. But, so evidently they've deactivated the tape, darling, which is why I didn't even bother to put any tape on to keep the wrinkles up, that it would fall down, darling. This is so natural, darling, as natural as it gets. And so we're going to do a beautiful song by Harry Styles. And it's a lovely song for those of you who, like your Auntie Glam, have been sleeping alone for weeks and weeks and weeks and thinking, what did I do wrong in all of those relationships, darlings? How did I blow each and every one so that I'm lying here next to a pad and a pencil in case I wake up in the middle of the night and have a thought, darling, and I need to write it down. I have cats and I have pencils. They are my current lovers, darling. But don't use the pencil, darling, because you could push something. And then you can't go to the hospital. Because, you know, you were only allowed to go to the hospital if you got Miss Rona. You can't say, I accidentally rolled over on my lover/pencil and punctured myself, darlings. And then you will really have the BM company sending out notifications, darling. So don't do that, darling. Don't ride your pencils. Okay. Oh, darlings, I have to keep thinking, because if I stop talking or thinking, it'll all be over. So let's just do this next number, because we are falling quickly, darlings. To all of those who I've loved and lost. I'm in my bed and you're not here, and there's no one to blame but the drink and my wandering hands. Forget what I said, it's not what I meant. And and I can't take it back and unpack all the baggage you left. What am I now? What am I now? What if I'm someone you don't want around? I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. What if I'm down? What if I'm out? What if I'm someone you don't talk about? I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. You said you cared, and you missed me too. And I'm well aware I wrote too many songs about you. And the coffee's out at the Beechwood Cafe, and it kills me 'cause I know that we've run out of things we can say. What am I now? What am I now? What if I'm someone I don't want around? I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. What if I'm down? What if I'm out? What if I'm someone you won't talk about? I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. And I get the feeling that you'll never need me again. What if I'm now? What am I now? What if you're someone I just want around? I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. What if I'm down? What if I'm out? What if I'm someone you won't talk about? I'm falling again, I'm falling again, I'm falling. Darlings, that one line, you know, what if I'm someone you won't talk about, darling? And to be someone's dirty little secret, angels. And sometimes that's what you want, but other times you would rather have people be proud of you and show you around and enjoy your presence and, you know, that sort of thing. But you don't have any showing anybody around these days, darling. But very soon we'll be out. We won't be able to see each other. And that's the other thing, darling. I've been, of course, whenever I do go out to the store for, you know, things that I have to do, wearing the mask, darling. But of course, I'm not one of those people who stares into everybody's eyes, but I do like to look at their mouth to see if they're smiling or smirking, or you can read a lot from what a person is thinking or going through by looking at their mouth, darling. The eyes, I don't think they are the window to the soul, but the mouth definitely gives you, it provides you with greater secrets, darlings. Now, we have one more song for you. It's quite a doozy, and I don't know if the tape is going to give out or if my voice is going to give out. Oh, look, the things are sliding, darlings. Everything's falling. Falling again, I'm falling. Ah-da-da-da. And I usually stand up for this song, darling, but if I stand up, all you'll be doing is staring at my not sex bra. But, oh, there's my hand, darling. You won't be looking at my side. I'm just going to sit back so you can see David. It's not my sex. I'm not wearing a bra, darlings, but I'm not going to show you everything. But, woo! Darlings, I didn't need any tape. Not there. And so, my angels, we are going to do this beautiful song. It's a song, look, you can't tell, but I'm sitting with my legs spread, darling. And I've got on my shoes, darlings. And heels. I'm wearing heels because I'm sitting, but I like to wear heels. But yesterday I was watching my darling friend Veda, who does this wonderful Witchy Wednesdays live. Veda, Lady Veda. She's on Instagram, darling, and she does Witchy Wednesdays live streaming from Dublin from her kitchen slash dining room. It's got an L-shape, darling. I just it caught on me, darling. Must be the cocaine, darling. It's giving me palpitations, darling. So she was saying she wasn't wearing high heels because, of course, you have to wear high heels. You don't have to, but it's glamorous to wear high heels on stage. But in your kitchen when nobody sees your feet, darling, it's a wonderful thing for a showgirl because the first thing to go is the feet. I didn't quite understand that. Years ago, I did a play, 10 years ago, I think it was, 8 years ago, 12 years ago. It was in 2012, you do the math, darlings. A wonderful show called Jukebox Jackie, where I played Jackie Curtis, darlings, and it was one of the greater thrills of my life, directed by Scott Whitman, and it was Bridget Everett and Cola Scola and Sky Steele. We were the cast, and Lance Horn did the music, and it was at La Mama, a legendary place in New York City. And there were many, I'd read a lot when doing my research, a lot of the writings of Jackie Curtis, and she was constantly referencing busted feet, bad feet, people with rotten feet, showgirls with their collapsed, inverted, crushed and wretched feet, darlings, which is what happens if you don't have the sense to take off your high heels every now and then. And then there are some people who take off their high heels and they can't flatten their feet. They are like Barbies, darling. They've got little Barbie feet. I think Mariah Carey is one of them. She can't flatten her feet, darling. She's walking around on tippy toes, which I've been doing my entire life. As soon as I learned to walk, I went up on tippy toes, darlings, and I rarely come down. And so I'm acclimated to the high heel, and so I'm one of those showgirls who hasn't got busted feet, darling, but, you know, they are. I do have one show foot and one no foot, darling. But right now they just look like biscuits because I haven't been able to get to the pedicurist. And I forget about my feet, darling, because I'm rarely standing. I'm just laying around in this house or spinning until I drop, darlings. But anyway, speaking of spinning, darlings, it's a beautiful Stevie Nicks number, and I hope you enjoy it. Very dramatic, darlings. It sounds like bum bum bum. Pray for the dead, and the dead will pray for you. Rhiannon rings like a bell in the night, and wouldn't you love to love her? She takes the sky like a bird in flight, and who will be her lover? All your life you've never seen a woman taken by the wind. Would you stay if she promised you heaven, darling? Will you ever win? Will you ever win? And I said, Rhiannon, don't go. And I said, Rhiannon, stay. And I said, I still cry out for you. like the wind, child, take me to the sky. Take me like the wind, child, take me to the sky. Take me like the wind, child, take me to the sky. Take me like the wind, child, take me to the sky. All the same, all the same, all the same, Rihanna. All the same, all the same, all the same, Rihanna. All the same, all the same, all the same, Rihanna. Take me to the sky. Take me like the wind, child. Take me to the sky. Take me like the wind, child. Take me to the sky. And I still cry out for her. Don't leave me. Don't leave me now. Darlings, I can't help but think I would have done that song better if I'd been standing, darling. Mother's sitting here in this your auntie mother. I love people whose mothers are their aunts, darlings. I remember when I was young, there was a young boy who thought his sister was his sister and his grandmother was his mother. But really, his mother was his sister and his sister was his mother. And his grandmother was his mother was his grandmother, darling. You know how when you start the secrets very young, it's very hard to turn them around, darling. So I'm not clever enough to have secrets, darling. That's why I don't lie very often, darling, because I'm not clever enough to be a liar. But I can make things up right and left, darling. I don't ever think about what's coming out of my mouth, angels, but I never claim for any of it to be true. That's the mistake, darlings. You should always tell the truth. But don't say it's the truth, darling, because the truth changes, as I'm sure many of you who've lived long enough to know. The truth changes, and I've always used to say, when I did a wonderful act with my friend Kenny Melman, we did an act called Kiki and Herb, and Kiki used to always say, everything is true in a lie, darling. But anyway, that was the final number, I guess. Perhaps we'll be back next week, darlings, if we're all still trapped at home. I can't promise you that this will be going on forever, my angels. We're here. We thank you so much for tuning in, you YouTubers and you Instagram wonders. Be sure, if you can, to tip us at Justin-Bond-20 at Venmo, or go to my website, justinvivianbond.com. I'd like to thank my beautiful musicians, David Sitkowski on piano, and the gorgeous Nathan Carrera, pinch hitting for Harry Styles, my darling, and me doing a sort of, what would you call it? People used to say that Joan Collins was the poor man's Elizabeth Taylor, and so I would say that I'm the poverty-stricken person's Stevie Nicks, darling, because here we are, live screaming, my angels, in poverty during the New Depression and the plague, that sort of, La Chanteuse de la Plague, darling. And so, you know, we do the best we can, considering we can't even stand up, angels, because we can't move anything. We're not with a camera crew, darling. Someone said to me, I'm just going to keep talking, angels. Turn off whenever you're ready, because the show's basically over. I'm just rambling, and I'm too lazy to reach up there and push that button until I have another drink. Oh, my darling. Somebody said to me, I have wonderful, beautiful comments, of course, from all of you wonderful people. But somebody did say to me, one of the comments was, well, you're not a singer, Auntie Glam, but you knew that. I love you. And do you know what I did, darling? I blocked their ass, darling, because I may or may not be a fantastic singer. I can't hear me singing, but I do the best I can, darling. I try to put some feeling into it. And, people have nothing better to do than I don't go on people's pages and say hateful criticisms of them, darlings. We just do what we can, what is it? You perform to your own capabilities, darlings. And so here we are. I can't say that if I lived a healthier lifestyle, I'd be a better singer, darlings. No, I'd probably sing about the same and just be sort of very uptight and miserable, darling. Nobody wants to hear somebody who's uptight and miserable singing. You've got to enjoy yourself, darlings. That's the most we can hope for in this world. To enjoy ourselves. Don't let anybody tell you what to do, darlings. That's the other thing. Don't let them tell you what to do, and don't let them tell you what not to do. But of course, use your sense of we don't all run out the door, but we could. We could all run out the door. We could go and spit on people. We could go wallow in pig shit if we wanted to, darlings, because it's a free country. Let the free morons go out and be free, and let the rest of us who are intelligent, caring, loving people stay in for the moment. Go out, use a little sense, darlings. Don't listen to the government. Listen to your heart. Listen to your sense. And if you have a death wish, act on it, darlings. The rents will go down even further. So, what can I say, darlings? Do what you like. Go to church. Go to church. Go wherever you need to go, darling, because there's heaven's waiting room. That's what we can call church from now on, darling. Those crowded $20,000 super churches that need the money, darlings. Heaven's waiting room, darlings. I feel like I'm in heaven's waiting room. You probably feel like you're in heaven's waiting room. When is she going to end this live stream, darlings? Somebody else said to me, because, I used to say to myself, never read the comments, darling. Never read the comments. That was my cardinal rule. But when you're left to your own devices with nothing to do but, bang yourself with a pencil and pet your pussies, you might just find yourself reading the comments, darlings. And somebody said, Auntie Glam, I've been watching for all 9 weeks and you just become more and more unhinged each week. Well, darling, I can only tell you that it's not intentional. So, there we go, betraying our spiritual beliefs. Do things with intention. Do things with intention. Darling, I didn't intend to lose my mind here in this darling house of whimsy, but perhaps I'm going to lose it. But darling, I don't feel any less or more miserable or happy or, appealing. So, lose your mind, darling. Then you have something fun to look for when you can search, when you can go out and look for it. Who knows where you'll find it? Are you still there, people? Is anybody still there, darlings? I guess we'll sign off, but I do want you to know that one thing's for sure. You'd think I could wait until I turn this thing off to take another sip, darling, but it's delicious. It's really wonderful. Watermelon sugar high, laced with a little cocaine, darlings. What was I? One thing I know for sure, darling, I sound like Oprah. One thing I know for sure, darling, is that nobody loves you more than your Auntie Glam. Nobody. So I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTubers. Goodbye, my darling. Wouldn't it be wonderful if we could do all of this? I mean, no wonder I'm schizophrenic, my darlings. I'm looking at 2 phones, trying to entertain 2 audiences from 1 room, darling. But darlings, I'm so happy that you're here. And I'm going to say goodbye to the YouTubers. Goodbye now. Goodbye, YouTubers. Goodbye. Oh, there. Now see, if that was my pencil, darling, it would be a threat. But can you imagine a little finger coming your way? Wouldn't that be lovely? Goodbye. Oh, and